Hey everybody, welcome back to Through the Woods 360. We took a little poll on our Facebook page about what people wanted to see next, and we gave them a couple options, and it was overwhelming that stuffed peppers won. So there's a bunch of different ways to make stuffed peppers. We're going to show you how we do it. If you want, you can try it out. So we had a little technical difficulties, and we lost our footage. So I already done did part of it, but I'm going to show you what it did. Peppers don't all sit flat and even because the bottoms of them are bumpy, and some do. Some will sit like this, but you need them to sit because we're going to stuff them, put them in there, and then they have to cook that way. So you don't want them to be tumbling over. So I just shaved off a little itty bitty bit off of the bottom. This is actually all I took off, these little itty bitty pieces, so it'll sit level. And you don't want to cut too much off because you'll end up with a hole in the pepper, and then all your good stuff's going to run out the bottom. And then what I did was I cut the top off, and I take my knife and I try to get my knife level, and I hold my knife and I spin my pepper just like this around that knife rather than trying to saw the knife around the pepper. And I just find that works best for me. So the next thing we're going to do is we need to get these seeds out of here, and not only the seeds, but the membranes. Oh, shoot, Gino. Would you grab me a paper towel to put these seeds on?
Absolutely.
I already got rid of my trash bowl. I've already done the other three.
I'm a good towel getter.
Because this isn't rocket science, so it's not something that you have to watch be done more than once. So I'm going to use a spoon and bust the rest of this membrane off because I don't want to cut through my pepper like I already did on one of them. Then inside of here, Gino, can you see that white membrane inside of there?
Yep.
Okay, that white membrane in any peppers, even jalapenos, and other hot peppers, it actually adds to the heat. But this white membrane tends to be a little bitter. Mm-hmm. So what I do is I just take a spoon. I don't know if you can see that, but I just take a spoon just like you clean out a pumpkin or you clean out a squash or a cantaloupe or anything else, and I scrape that white out of there. And it's just a regular spoon. Oh, I got a seed in there. Did I get him? I think I got him, but I don't know where he went. Alrighty. So we're going to take this trash, put it over here, and then I've also got some of this white membrane on this top, and these tops are going to go in with our meat mixture that goes in the pepper. So I don't want this white in there, and I'm just trimming that off. It's better to keep it out of there and waste a little pepper than have an unpleasant taste when your peppers are done, because who wants to work on making supper only to have it not taste good anyway? So then we're just going to take these and we're just going to cut it into strips. And however big you want your pieces, that's up to you. You could leave them in strips. You can dice them into pieces, whatever. I'm just going to not get real picky with it. It's going to cook up anyway, and I don't mind a piece of pepper. Now, if you don't like peppers, or you have somebody in your family that doesn't like peppers, most people don't like peppers, whatever, and they're one of these people that makes stuffed peppers and then takes the meat out of the pepper and eats the meat, but doesn't really like the pepper, then just leave these peppers out. Don't put this in your meat mixture, and that'll be just fine.
That was me when I was a kid.
I have browned up a pound of pork sausage and a pound of ground sirloin. You can use fat of your hamburger if you want, but I prefer to drain my fat out of it. I just don't like all that fat. I'm going to take This was a medium regular onion like you buy in a 3-pound bag. It's not a sweet onion. Sometimes they're sweeter than others. Sometimes they're a little more pungent, but whatever.
You'll know when you cut them if they're sweeter or more strong.
And if you don't like onion, you can reduce it. If you like more onion, you can add more. Cooking is not set down to this is what you have to do. This is what you have to put in it. It's all to your taste. Like I'm going to put some cumin and some paprika in here. And if you don't care for those flavors, don't put it in there.
Yeah.
I did add some garlic powder to this meat and onion powder to this meat when I browned it, when I cooked it, and just a little bit of salt and some pepper. Okay, so speaking of pepper, I did not get the rest of this ground up, Gino.
You want me to grind that up for you?
Yeah, you can come stand right here and do it. I'll tell them what we got in this bowl.
I'm a good pepper grinder.
Okay, in these two, I've got 2 little bowls, only because I'm going to make a mixture to also put around that, and I need a little extra. In this bowl, I have about a teaspoon of cumin, a half a teaspoon of paprika, and a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. And we're going to dump that in there.
Right.
I don't dump this all in one spot because the meat is moist because it's already been cooked, and I'm afraid I won't get that mixed in there, and I wouldn't want to have a big old spot of seasoning. So I like to sprinkle this in there, not just dump it in one spot. That way I make sure it's mixed up in there. I had about I want to say 12, but I think it actually ended up being more like about 14 peppercorns in here. And we just gave them like a coarse grind with the mortar and pestle. I'm going to dump the rest of this in here. Well, maybe not the rest. About that much in there. It's going to go in our other mixture. I'll put this here so it doesn't fall on the floor. And we're going to give this a stir. It already looks like you could eat it, doesn't it?
It sure does.
It looks yummy. Man, all those pretty colors. Too bad we don't have any red ones.
It's going to look better yet here in a minute or two.
That's right. Ooh, we need to drain 1 can of tomatoes to dump in here.
I can do that.
Now I'm not going to dump all this in there.
Excuse my reach.
You can use any kind of cheese you want. You could use cheddar. You could use Monterey Jack. You could use pepper jack. Whatever you want. This is Emo's cheese. We're from around St. Louis. This is pretty popular around here, and it is a mixture. It says shredded Provel cheese, which is processed cheddar, Swiss, and smoked provolone. So we're going to add about half of this, because what I want to do is when these peppers are just about done, I want to top them with some more of this cheese and then let that melt on there. So each one will have melted cheese on the top. So I'm not going to use quite this whole bag of cheese. I'm going to use probably a little better than half, maybe about 2/3.
It just melts so good.
And then we'll save that.
Some of the best
top.
melting cheese.
But yeah, I don't want all of them.
Good thing you said something.
We're going to take this is the off-brand store brand of Rotel tomatoes. It's just diced tomatoes with green chilies, and we drain the liquid off, most of the liquid off. We didn't squeeze it, but we don't want to put too much liquid in here. We don't want them to be super soupy. And I'm putting
most of what I could get out just by holding the can.
Just about a half a can. Just about a half a can, because I like a little tomatoes in with my meat mixture. The only other thing we got to go in here, we might put some more in there, Gino. This is an awful lot of mixture. Meat mixture.
It is. Well, you know, we got plans for what we don't use.
A half a cup of minute rice. And a half a cup of minute rice is actually going to expand into a cup of cooked rice. So even though we're going to add liquid in here and cook it, we need to have enough liquid in this mixture that it gives that rice enough liquid to rehydrate. So I'm going to go ahead and dump in this whole can with it, because I've got 2 pounds of meat. I'm used to doing this just with 1 pound of meat, and we got 2, because leftovers are always good. You can use the leftovers for a whole nother meal. So we're going to give that all a mix, and then we're going to stuff our peppers. And we're just going to take this mixture and we're going to put it in here. Now you can do this with raw meat. Most of the time Mom would do hers with raw meat, and if you do it with raw meat, you don't want to pack it in there super tight, because you need to make sure it's going to get done. But we're just going to take this, and don't push too hard because you'll bust the pepper. Especially that one that I done cut into over there. Things don't always work out.
And that looks really, really good. It
does look good. Now, some people take their peppers and they blanch them first because it helps the pepper get done faster when it's cooking. I don't like my peppers super soggy, and I don't know if these are going to turn out still crispy like I like them, but they'll definitely be better than if I'd have blanched them first. So I don't blanch them first. By all means, if you want your pepper super soft, you can blanch it first. But you can see how easy this is. So far, the hardest thing we did was fry the meat, so anybody can do this. We're going to take some of this. Maybe we'll take our cabbage first. I've got some red cabbage that I just cut up kind of like a coarse slaw. You know, not real fine. And I'm doing this because when I eat this left over, this cabbage in here, if you don't like cabbage, just leave it out. But this cabbage in here that's going to cook with tomatoes and the rest of it, that'll be good with this little bit of meat mixture in here over the top of some rice, I think. So then we're going to take our can of Rotel tomatoes, our second can. So that's 2 cans that we've used so far. And we're going to put that in here.
Spread that around
and this cabbage is going to cook down. And when this cabbage cooks down, it's not going to take up nearly as much room. If you watched our fried cabbage video, you'd...
Yeah, that skillet was overflowing and it cooked right.
Now, the reason why I put my cabbage on the bottom and then my tomatoes and the juice from the cabbage ran through, and I'm going to add some juice to it anyway. But this mixture here, this meat mixture, has cheese in it. And I don't want that cheese right on top of my Dutch oven that's hanging over the heat because I don't want to burn cheese on here. Burned cheese doesn't taste good, and it's a pain to get off. And I usually try to take care of my cast iron. And cooking anything in cast iron that has tomatoes in it is not good if you have new cast iron. So if you don't have seasoned cast iron or enamel coated cast iron, I wouldn't recommend doing this in cast iron.
If it's an old piece that's very well seasoned and
this will get
re-seasoned for years,
this will get re-seasoned
you can get by with it
afterwards, simply for the fact that I'm cooking tomatoes in it, and tomatoes are extremely acidic. And
well, it's the same piece that we made the cabbage stew in the shelter video where we were.
Whoops. And now I'm going to take some of this extra seasoning, and I'm probably not going to use all of it because, like I said, this is smaller. And I'm just going to sprinkle that in here. I could have dumped it on top of the tomatoes if I'd have been smarter. Nobody ever accused me of being smart.
I can smell it over here. It already smells amazing.
We need some liquid in here to help steam these peppers done. We also need some liquid in here to make like a, I don't know what you call it, almost like a stew basically with the cabbage and the extra meat mixture. So we're going to take us some V8. If you don't like V8, you could use plain tomato juice. If you don't like tomato juice, you could use chicken stock. You could use beef stock. You could use vegetable stock. You could use just about anything. I would not recommend water. Some people might want to throw in some beef stock and a little red wine, and that would be fine. Now, we'll check the level on this juice as we cook to make sure we don't run out of juice, but we should get more as the peppers steam. They will release some of their juice. I thought about putting a little more meat in there, but I don't want to do that because I want to give this room for the hot air to steam to circulate around those peppers. So we got everything in here. Okay, and I'm going to hang this here on the crane. Use our poker. Swing her over in there. I can put her quite in, all the way. Yeah, I am. Apparently we ain't real level here anymore. But it'll be all right. Then we're just going to let her cook for a while. I'm going to do this, Gina.
There you go.
More than one way to skin a rabbit. Okay, let's pull her out and see how we're cooking.
Oh, yeah.
She's looking good.
Real good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look at that, guys. I think we're just about ready for some extra cheese.
That looks really good.
Yes, it does. Heck yeah.
And we have a special, no, scratch that, very special guest to perform the taste test today.
The man of the hour.
The man of the year.
The man of the day, the man of the year, the man of our life, Dad. He will be here shortly when this cheese is melted, and he will be the tasty tester. Okay, welcome back, everybody. We are done, and they look amazing. And I'm not so sure Dad ever really liked stuffed peppers, but this is our dad. His name is David, and he is going to be our tester because was supposed to be testing like the pie, and he couldn't hang around. So we're going to give him one of these peppers here. Let's scoop this up so I don't make a mess. And he's going to be our taste tester, and he's going to tell us how it is. Let me get him some of the cabbage that's in the bottom of it so he gets to taste a little of that. And Dad, maybe we'll cut this apart and let it cool a second. It's insanely hot. It was just boiling, so we're going to have to let it cool just a second.
Sure looks good.
It does look good. Careful, it's probably really hot.
Mmm.
I didn't put a lot of rice in there because I know you don't like rice. How long's it been since you had something cooked in the Franklin stove, Dad? 40 years?
Years. Very, very good.
Do you like the filling in the pepper better, or do you like the stuff with the cabbage in it better? Or is it just all good together?
I like all of it.
Yeah, kind of good together. That's what I thought.
And it's all good for you.
It is all very good for you.
Very healthy meal.
Yep. Well, I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you were our taste tester.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dad. Okay, everybody. Thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Give Dad some love. We'll talk to y'all later. Take care.